my name is Christine. I have asked Source, Universe, God, whatever you want to call it, to bring this message to whomever needs to hear it whenever they need to hear it. So, with that, let's get started. Um, I feel pretty called to start with this Guardian of the Night tarot today. There's been a lot of animal imagery coming through. I'm doing a fun new thing where on the way to my little office studio space, um, it's like a 15-minute drive from my house, and I kind of open this sort of channel, and I'm like, I don't know. It's all very new to me, right? Okay, so I'm explaining this process as I learn about it for myself. 2 cards here. Oh, 3 cards here. Okay. And I asked today to be sort of channeled any messages that are important. And what I kept picking up on was wrong turn. Okay, but hear me out. It was in a different way than you may think. First of all, let me pull these cards because it feels important before I go on. Okay, we've got Page of Swords. Love that energy for you. What is this, like a ferret or a weasel or something? Oh my gosh, all the like ferret weasel people are going to be so mad at me. This one's got a sword too, so I better watch out. Okay, Page of Swords. This is oftentimes like incoming messages. Okay, something is exciting is in the air, a new idea, a new fresh perspective on something where you're like, oh wait, not there's more. Well, there is more. Maybe it is. Oh wait, there's more. No, it's more like, by George, I think I've got it. That's a thing, right? I'm not from this country. I'm from Germany. Sort of. Okay. Page of Swords, energy. Love that. Okay. Also, I will look at what that animal is. We've got 6 of Wands with like what looks to be the whole crew from Madagascar. African nations might mean something to some of you. I feel like it's a long story, but there's a map above my mom's kitchen table, and she just recently retold the story to me of when we got the map. It was during my kind of like high school emo phase, so I don't think I participated in the fun process of it all. It did not sound like fun to me, but anyway. This is kind of tying me back to wrong turn because my mom pointed. Leona's been very into Bluey, and finally, okay, there was only so much. I don't even want to like disparage any shows, so let's use one from my youth. Any Caillou type energy, I couldn't stand it anymore in my house. So she switched to Bluey, and my mom was going to show her where Australia was and New Zealand because they mention it on the show. And my mom points to the map, and she points to the continent of Africa and says, and this is Australia. And I say this not to belittle her because this woman has a PhD. Like, she's a genius. 333 on the timer. Oh, and I started the reading at 333. I meant to mention. But I say this not to, again, like disparage her in any way, shape, or form, because I'm the world's worst geography student. Just ask my teachers. Don't do that. They're not going to want to talk about it. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. My energy, I tried to really ground it, but I didn't do a very good job. Okay. She pointed at the continent of Africa and said, this is Australia. And we all paused and then like burst out laughing, right? And I think her first reaction was like, I knew that wasn't right, you know, like to defend, which, by the way, we've also got here 6 of Wands, which I wanted to also bring in here as like, sometimes there's unnecessary conflict in our minds, is how I've read this card recently. Like sometimes the unnecessary conflict, even when you're retreating into yourself, even when you're working with yourself, a lot of times the conflict is most potent within yourself, and you don't even realize that it's not the outside conflict that's causing the problem. It's the internal conflict. The Madagascar crew. Okay, that's where we were. I'm on a loop-de-loop situation. This is how I operate, geographically speaking, as well. I wander and I take wrong turns all the time. And my mom pointed at the continent of Africa and said, this is Australia. And instead of feeling, disparaged in the moment, or instead of us kind of poking fun at her, right? We just laughed because, like, of course she knows that. And it's the energy of like, you don't need to always fight the wrong turns. Sometimes there's a message in the wrong turns. Sometimes there's just joy in the wrong turns, because I got to say, I needed a laugh. And I I got a good laugh. Like, we all got a good laugh, and at nobody's expense. But just to like, it was just such a nice release. And I feel like I keep getting this messaging um, from all around, from my guides, from other readings and things like that, during meditation, what have you, um, to just lean into joy. And I've been giving that message as well, but it's sometimes like, what brings me joy? I don't even know anymore. Like, nothing seems to. And that can feel very bleak. And I have been in that phase, I think, kind of with you. I feel like whatever's happening, like, this is sort of a container for this channeled energy I'm reading, is how I'm seeing it, especially after it was almost like getting attuned in Reiki. Whoo, I just got like full body shivers. Getting my like most recent Reiki attunement, and then spending like months kind of, I keep getting this word alchemize. I know it's like, sounds kind of high and mighty, but we're all doing that. Alchemize a lot of things and integrate a lot of things, and have a lot of these big tower moments. Have some of that dust settling even be unsettling. Um, I've just opened up this like wild connection to your energy, I think, as a result of that, and a lot of other things, including trust. And I think trust is one of the reasons that the Six of Wands can oftentimes be misinterpreted as something outside of yourself that is a battle or struggle, which could also be the case. But a lot of times, the question you might want to ask is, what internally am I fighting myself on? Or is there a truth in me that I'm resisting, and it's an unnecessary conflict? I'm also getting that sometimes, which is something I realized recently for myself as well. Sometimes I get the sense also that a lot of this is speaking up, or not even necessarily speaking up aloud, but speaking up for ourselves, maybe for the first time, or speaking up on behalf of yourself, and not necessarily aggressively, but just from a very deep, trustful place in yourself, which I feel is maybe new to you. Ooh, I just got a really intense ear ringing. You may have, it was like shocking. You may have, I also am being called to mention that I've been having a lot of 818 on the timer. I've been having a lot of technical issues today, wrong turns, so to speak, in ways that normally I'm able to just fix very quickly. And today I was hitting like a dead end, a wrong turn at almost every point. And it felt and it was weird because I think I was already in the energy flow of like what the messaging was going to be today. So I wasn't taking it maybe on as personally or as frustratingly as I may have in the past. But it was almost this idea of like, just go with the flow. That's why I'm talking through an AirPod. I just kind of stopped fighting it. And I was like, it's not working. I'm not going to refresh it over and over and Google it over and over. And sometimes, if you have no other option, of course, like, by all means, troubleshoot. Okay. But I think today the message is more, when you're faced with a wrong turn, whether that be, in my case, often literally a wrong turn, which like I almost took like 3 wrong turns on the way here. And I kept just hearing this message of wrong turn. And I didn't take any wrong turns, but it was like that was sort of the vibe. And then when I got here, it was like everything was kind of getting fumbled. And so I think the message is more, rather than feel frustration, I know that's hard and easier said than done, but to kind of maybe take that as a message, because sometimes when you're faced with a wrong turn, or a dead end, or a malfunction. There's a message in it for you. And I think with the Page of Swords, this can often, especially for you right now, be very literal. And that has been happening for me as well. I'll be driving down the street. I will kind of almost alter my route just because I'm in a state right now of like, just, I think a lot of us are, all of us maybe, of shifts. And so things will be different from day to day. And as that happens, I kind of get shaken out of my thoughts a bit more, especially as I'm trying to be more mindful as I do these videos and things like that. And it's in those moments of like suddenly being like aware, because it's not the everyday routine, that I pick up on the strongest messages. And sometimes it'll be so literal. Like, oh, I'm trying to think of an example. The other day, it was another, like, I think a tech thing, right? And it wasn't working. And I finally just thought, whatever, maybe I'm meant to just, and this is what I mean is like, maybe just take it as a sign, right? Like, and that's what I've been trying to do, to just feel more open and like accepting of what is happening around me and things I can't control. And so I just took my AirPod out, and I had asked earlier in the day for like a very specific message. It was something about a whale jump, an orange whale or something like that. I think it was like an orange whale. I just was like, I really felt so alone, and I was reaching for some sort of comfort. And I asked for, I was struggling with trust, and I, as we all do, and it's normal, it was part of the human experience. I was asking for some, and I think it is a two-way street. So, I listened to the messaging of, your AirPods not working, take it out. So I took it out, and on the Bluey episode Leona was watching, Mum, who was an orange dog, suddenly jumped in the air and like landed, and she was pretending to be a whale. And so there was this big orange whale on the screen. And I just thought, okay, wow, that's so sick, brother. That's so cool that you can just go with the flow, like whatever. So Angel, Uriel, I don't know, somebody that came through, Ariel also came through, unplugged your Bluetooth. Okay, I don't know. Just maybe you're meant to listen to something. Anyway, sorry, that's really a long tangent, but that's where I feel like this Page of Swords energy kind of coming in. And we've also, I know I haven't even mentioned it yet, and frogs have been coming through a lot. And one thing I would recommend trying if you have trouble sleeping, oh, look at this light. Ooh, it looks like the sword is glinting. I think we're meant to pay attention to kind of this glinting sword here. The frog, if you have trouble sleeping, I have found it very soothing to, 13:31 on the timer, and I got a flip in my tummy right as that happened. I think listening to crickets and frogs is a very primal thing. And there's something extremely grounding about the sound of frogs and crickets in the background. If that's something that freaks you out and you grew up in Brooklyn and you're like, please don't do that, fine. I also love a window air conditioner unit sound as well. I love a fan option 3 as much as the next guy. But frogs and crickets have helped me sleep so much lately. And there's something about getting in touch with nature that I find. So that might be something to try if you're 1419. Those are my lucky numbers. All right, sorry, a lot of numbers today coming through as well. 2 of Swords here often indicates, I'm trying to think, it can indicate a lot of things, but I'm going to feel into what I see here with this. Hold on one moment, please. I think you've had to make a tough decision, a very tough decision in recent months. And I think you did a lot of that quietly because you can see the moon here and we had that kind of glinting. Also fireflies, lightning bugs. I know I've mentioned this, have been just a big sign for me lately. Oh, and then I pulled into, and I've just let that kind of be, which is really beautiful. Like I don't ask for signs all the time or something, but it's like, it almost, you get into this flow where like, then when you need it, the universe is like, here's some fireflies, you're down today or whatever, you might need to pick me up, that kind of thing. It's like, ooh, 404. You're like in flow, and that is oftentimes hard to access. And I think we're just not always ready for that, whether we like it or not. And it's hard to force that, but sometimes, we go through these periods of like intense integration and rest and like needing solitude and needing rest, even when it's frustrating or just aches and pains. A lot of you might be feeling aches and pains, or like, I'm also hearing like tight purse strings, like a tight budget. So it's hard to feel in flow, right? And feel that receptive openness. And I think that's sometimes by design. I don't think we're always meant to, obviously that's by design because we're meant to take those moments and learn from them, right? Like look inward at what battles we're fighting against ourselves and be able to then make that clarity. And in the original Rider-Waite, the Two of Swords, she has a blindfold on, and I think this is about going inward and really being honest with yourself. I know we've been getting that messaging a lot in these readings, at least, but I think you've kind of maybe done this already. I don't think this is something that I'm not advising you to go do this. I think you've already done this, and I think the time now is to wait for that abundance, that openness to come in, because when you were in that pickle, that tight bind, that Seven of Swords energy, or I'm sorry, Eight of Swords energy, where she's almost like trapped but can't find her way out. That's by design, because when we're faced with those challenges, that's when we're meant to be pushed, push or be pushed. And whether, like I pulled the Tower the other day, and that resonated with a lot of you. And it's like push or be pushed. The Tower is going to fall whether we like it or not. Sometimes, not always. Not always. Not always. I want to be clear. But like when you are ready for it to fall, let's put it that way, when you're able to look inward and say like, okay, I'm ready for parts of it. Maybe ask yourself like, if the Tower is something that scares you. I'm currently taking a class online called Tarot for Astrologers, which is kind of funny because I know way less about, I know not that much about either, but I know more about tarot than I do astrology. But one thing that she mentioned, oh my God, now I totally lost my train of thought, which is also what kept happening during her class. So again, wrong turn. It's like some of the energy today is like, and maybe that's part of the message, like, just go with it. Like maybe I wasn't meant to go down that path right now. Maybe we're meant to focus on this. And I'm sorry if that's frustrating to some of you. My Taurus is in Mercury. I'm sorry. See, my Mercury is in Taurus. And so I do appreciate like a grounded approach to communication. And I like clarity. I am, my ADHD, that's another thing that's been coming in very strongly for me lately, is like today actually is like ADHD, just like as like channeling from people's guides or higher self, like perhaps that's something you are struggling with or have been considering. And if so, this is your sign to follow your gut and instinct on that. Oh, wow. Oh my goodness. We've pulled 22. Oh, tender embrace. This is like so Sweet. Okay. So, ooh, yeah, that's what it is. The wrong turns have brought you here. The wrong turns. In the wrong turns were the messages. And as we took those messages, maybe we missed them, and we probably missed a lot of them, which, again, normal. Like my AirPod wasn't working, and I probably spent way too many days just missing messages and trying to fix my AirPods. That's an analogy, but it's also it's also real. My point is, the wrong turns, the like missed moments, there were lessons in them, yeah, but whether we saw them or not, it brought you here, okay? And so even though those wrong turns happened, it's okay and it's good and they were meant to happen. So for those of you wondering, but like, why so late in life, or why do I feel like this took me so long to figure out? Where was I? What was this fog, or what took me so long? It's like this time was meant, it was meant to take this time, because you're a different person now. And you're now reaching this point, tender embrace. The wrong turns are, and I'm feeling almost like I'm feeling like a pressure on my arms, which I do feel sometimes. And for some of you, I was also getting like, invest in a new fidget. Listen, I'm all about like trinkets, right? So, but also like somatic movement is something that has helped me so much recently. So, find what works for you, whether that's like giving yourself a hug. What? I just got a message about a Whole Foods order, and I didn't place a Whole Foods order. What are you up to this time, Bezos? Okay. Let's get back to this normal stuff. Tender embrace. If you're just listening to this, not watching, I just did air quotes, tender stuff. No, that's not what I did. Air quotes, important stuff, because it's important to me. Maybe not everybody. Okay, wow, this is beautiful. Tender embrace is the first oracle card in energy 4 of the Oracle of the 7 Energies deck, and that's the energy of love. Look how this light just keeps almost creating this. Oh my gosh. See, and that's what I mean. Like my camera was also not where I've had like so many wrong turns today. And my camera wasn't working, but maybe it was meant to be this one to shine some extra light, you never know. Look at that. Okay. So we've got the energy of love, right? And tender embrace. Wow. Put your hand on your heart. Oh my gosh. That's kind of what I was saying, right? Give yourself like a little hug. Put your hand on your heart, breathe deeply, inhaling a sense of gratitude. Tune into compassion and be a witness, okay? And one way to reduce suffering in yourself and those around you is to zoom out and realize you're witnessing your own experience, okay? You're the one witnessing your own experience. And there is, hate to say it, very poetic, there's beauty to be had in that. It's time, though, to reduce your pain, focus on compassion, do something kind for someone, just say hello to someone. Sometimes even like, and part of me is like, oh, but sometimes having a conversation with a stranger, even like not planned, obviously, or maybe, but like if you're going somewhere and you just have one of those kind of incidental conversations, it can just leave you feeling uplifted. So let those moments happen to you. And again, with the wrong turn analogy, like they'll bring you where you need to go, and try not to fight them too hard. Where do I need to be gentler, kinder? Ooh, yeah, maybe be compassionate toward yourself. There's so much energy we extend to others that could be better served coming back, filling our own cup, and acting from that centered place, not from a place of feeling bound to, or feeling you owe the world something, or you owe anything to anyone. Because I have a news flash for you, my friend. You do not. You do not. And it may be hard to realize that. I mean, yes, if you have a dependent, say a child, a legal binding situation. Okay. Please understand, I mean, in a more energetic sense of putting on your own so corny air mask before helping another, right? Like, even your child. And when I say that, I don't mean anything except that sometimes to be the most loving parent, you also need to remember that taking care of yourself is part of that. But even if you're not a parent, that still applies, that taking care of yourself sometimes, oftentimes, needs to come first. Okay. It's not your job to tell others how to express themselves, right? It's none of your business how others react to you. Even if you don't like the way the world behaves today, be kind for no reason at all and watch miracles arise. Just be gentle with yourself. Be kind to yourself. If you take a wrong turn, it's Mercury's fault, okay? Don't blame yourself. Just say, Mercury got me again. And then settle inward, listen. Maybe there's a song on the radio you're meant to be paying attention to, a lyric. The song that keeps coming through for me today is so random, but it's by Live, they're called, the band. And it's like, it's like very like grungy kind of, I don't know. It's a song that I go through phases where I listen to it like repeatedly. It's called Lightning Crashes. It is certainly not everyone's cup of tea. It's oftentimes not my cup of tea, but I really sometimes just resonate so hard with that song, Lightning Crashes. I mean, it's really weird. So if you haven't heard it, like, you're going to be like, what the hell? But it's a classic, and it was in Yellow Jackets, I believe. And I think Misty, one of the main characters, was like, I freaking hated that song, and I hated how many times we had to listen to it. So I can understand, like, when filming. Sorry, fun fact for you. Also, great show, but also deeply disturbing. So be mindful. I love you all so much. Please give yourself a tender embrace. Wrong turns have happened, but you are in a period now where you can look around and say, but wait, there's so much fun in the wrong turn. And you're already in a place where you're ready to receive. And that starts with receiving your own love, okay? And the love that the universe has to offer you, the miracles, the magic, the wonderful things, okay? Yeah, I don't know why I meant to mention that song. In case you're wondering, Lightning Crashes. Also, lightning has been a big message for me lately. And it's been really powerful. Like, I sent a message to someone that had been struggling to write, and I finally felt motivated and encouraged to write it and empowered to write it. And then, like, this lightning crashed, and it was wild. So, just feel into it. It's tough. I know, folks, but I love you so much. Thanks for hanging out with me here in this space that, we're all still figuring out together on the floor. I love you. And I don't know, listen to that song if you feel like it. But, the lyrics are that I kept being called to. This is how I'll end. And maybe these lyrics, and by the way, if you have a song stuck in your head, I do encourage you to look up the lyrics, especially if it's a song like that's kind of random. Because I find so many times it's like, even if you're not into like the woo woo, I think a lot of times it's even our mind just bringing up like, this is what's on your mind and this is how it's expressing. One today that kept coming through is Hillary Duff. So this is how you can see I have what you might say either a childish or an eclectic, depending on who you are, how you feel about me. Taste in music, but the Hillary Duff song "Let the Rain Fall Down," and I'm whatever. Okay, I'm gonna butcher that, but and it goes, "I want to feel the thunder, I want to scream," and that kept coming through today. And then "Lightning Crashes," which I'd forgotten the name of the song because that's just the first line, and then like the rest of the song, it does say, okay, let me read the line, and maybe this will resonate if you're like Misty from Yellow Jackets and you fucking hate this, then sorry, but here it is, and then we'll end. Oh, now feel it coming back again, like a rolling thunder chasing the wind. Forces pulling from the center of the earth again. I can feel it. I can feel it. I can feel it coming back again, like a rolling thunder chasing the wind. Forces pulling from the center of the earth again. I can feel it. And I think confirmation chills. We are, and it's really good. It's catchy. The beginning of the song's weird, and there is the word placenta. Trigger warning. Okay, I'm gonna go. I love you all so much. Just love yourselves and be careful out there. Mwah.